Remember the black men who were tortured by the goon squad? Well, we reported on this from day one. The goon squad arrested, prosecuted, sentenced. They are in prison. However, the men who were tortured for hours by two different jurisdictions inside of their own home only received a little more than $2 million in a settlement. People are outraged. I'm going to give you a reminder of our coverage. Here it is. Michael C. Jenkins was in the hospital after he was shot in the mouth by one of the deputies. Jenkins was left for dead. Essentially, his deputies rendered no aid to help him whatsoever. I remember the picture of Mr. Eddie Parker, Terrell's injuries, the crime scene of January 24th, 2023. Again, 6 officers entered the residence of Jenkins and Parker without a warrant, alleging they were there to carry out a late drug raid that resulted in both black men being beaten, sexually assaulted, waterboarded, assailed with racial slurs and shot with tasers, roughly 90 minutes or more, all while handcuffed. Accusations of them dating white women were hurled. Items found at the crime scene: a sexual device on the left, eggs on the right. After officers attempted to sexually assault the men with the sexual device, both men were forced to shower together. Eggs were also hurled at the two men. When we saw the photo of you in the hospital, when my team and I received the information about what happened prior and that the officer shot you in the mouth, what was it like after the aftermath of this, the hospital stay, the conversations that needed to happen around why were you placed in this situation?
It was difficult. The hard part was when they did my mom. They left me for dead, and then turned around, wouldn't let my parents see me, and then guarded my room 24 hours, and just waking up, seeing them handcuffed to the bed, feet, arms. Man, it was terrible. I mean, it was terrible. So bad.
I would imagine that even after you're in the hospital, Michael, that you are likely thinking these individuals are going to try to do something else to you. Did that sentiment ever go through your mind?
Yes, sir.
Those men were tortured. That is the general terminology that we utilize. But you need to understand exactly what that torture specifically was. They were made to shower together. That's called sexual torture. They had eggs smashed in their faces. They were beaten, brutalized physically. They were taunted, obviously, insulted, racial profanities galore. And then one man was shot in the face. The final chapter of the so-called goon squad. 6 rogue police officers who terrorized central Mississippi closed last week as Rankin County officials agreed to pay $2.5 million to settle a federal civil rights lawsuit, sparking outrage from residents who said the payout does not come close to delivering justice for black men who were tortured by deputies. The settlement finalized 2 years after this brutal attack that took place in January 2023. The attack on Mr. Michael Jenkins and Mr. Eddie Parker concludes a $400 million legal action against Rankin County and the sheriff, who is Brian Bailey. So while the original lawsuit sought $400 million in damages, the final payout was limited by practical constraints. Attorneys for Jenkins and Parker said they pursued what was realistically available. The county's insurance policy capped at $2 million and an additional $500,000 from the sheriff's department budget. Rankin County attorneys Jason Dare confirmed the funds will come entirely from those sources with no new taxes imposed. Trent Walker, an attorney for the victims, confirmed that the settlement included $500,000 from the sheriff's office budget and $2 million from its insurance policy. All 6 officers, former Rankin County deputies, Brett McAlpin, Daniel Updike, Christian Dedmond, Hunter Elward, and Jeffrey Middleton, as well as former Richland City police officer Joshua Hartfield. This made it a 2-jurisdictional dynamic because of that cop. They have been sentenced to both state and federal charges related to said torture. Mr. Jenkins sustained a broken jaw and a lacerated tongue and continues to undergo medical treatment. If you remember when Mr. Jenkins was on Indisputable, his speech seemed slurred, and there were some who assumed it was due to some level of brain injury. However, it's due to the fact that his tongue is partially lacerated because of the gunshot to his face.
All right, Shalom. All praise to the Most High, Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Rakak, and double honor to our apostles, elders, and bishops here at Great Millstone for teaching His truth that's going all around the earth. And Shalom to the hopeful elect out there. It's your brother Atazawam from the Great Millstone in St. Louis. We're going to dive into a quick lesson here off of that news piece that we had in the front, all right, concerning these 2 Jakes, all right, that were tortured by, I believe it was 5 deputy sheriffs and 1 police officer, right, somewhere in central Mississippi. This happened probably, I think it said 2 years ago or so, just a little bit over 2 years, and they've come to the conclusion of the trial and so forth, all right, and we see, that the more things change, the more things stay the same, right? That's an old saying, okay? And Esau has never changed who he is, all right? He's always been the lying, murderous devil that he was made to be, okay? All right, and so, quite frankly, when the men of the Lord teach, for you regular Jakes out there, teach you that this man has no salvation, this man does not love you, all right? You look at us and you scoff and mock us, okay, and say that, we're preaching hate, okay? But it never enters your mind to think of the history of this man and the things that they've always done to the Israelites, particularly here in Babylon the Great, all right? All over the world, first and foremost, but we're going to talk about just the last few hundred years on this side. And yet, somehow, amazingly, you regular Jakes, you Christian Jakes out there, you think this man should have salvation, okay, which is like rulership, okay, in the kingdom, with you. After all the nasty, wicked things that they've done. And this is just one incident. There's countless thousands of incidents of how Esau has treated the Israelites, especially here in Babylon the Great, right? And this man has always had a hatred for you, okay? No matter what kind of smile they give you in the morning when Jake show up for work, they give you that old false smile, nod their head at you, but inwardly, you know that they hate you, okay? So anyway, let's get into it. This is Genesis 27 and 41, and it reads, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. So they still hate you today. Nothing has changed. It doesn't matter really what laws they say they put on the book, right? Their actions show exactly how they feel about you, okay? And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, in his mind, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. All right. And we don't even need to go into the word slay. You know what slay means. That means to put you down, right? To murder you. Okay. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah, and she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau has touched thee, doeth comfort himself, pursuing to kill thee. You see, to murder you, to torture you. Okay? And this is a perpetual hatred that they have for the Israelites because of that birthright. Let's go over here to Ezekiel 35 and 1. We're going to read all of this because why? Because it's pertaining to this particular nation, right? The nation of Esau, okay? The so-called white man here in America, right? And abroad, okay? But mainly here for all the bloodshed of the Israelites, all right? Both kingdoms, both northern kingdom and southern kingdom. Ezekiel 35 and 1, it says, moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, son of man, set thy face against, not for, but against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, thus saith the Lord power, behold, Mount Seir, I am against thee. So it's the Lord that is against you, okay? And through the mouth of his prophets and his teachers, you know, the Lord is prophesying that he is against you, and your damnation is on its way. And I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will slay thy city's waste, Salakia. I will lay thy city's waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred. Perpetual means ongoing. Perpetual hatred, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, right? Because he set out to kill Jacob. In the time of their calamity and in the time that their iniquity had an end, right? Because Esau has taken it too far. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men in thy hills and in thy valleys, and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy cities shall not return, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. Because thou hast said, these two nations, right? Israel and Judah, or northern and southern kingdom, and these two countries shall be mine and will not possess it. Salakia. And we will possess it, whereas the Lord was there. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord of power, I will even do according to thine anger, right? And their anger was against Jacob. So the Lord's anger, he's going to match them, really, and overdo them with the same anger. And according to thy envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them. So they've always hated you. The Lord didn't say that there was only a certain time that they would hate Jacob. You know, Esau would hate Jacob. He said he would pursue him, right? So as long as Jacob is in the earth and this man is allowed to be in the earth, he will constantly pursue Jacob. And according to thine envy which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them, I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh, and that I have heard all thy blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate, they are given us to consume. And that's what you think. Everywhere Esau has gone, he has pursued Jacob, all right, to kill, to use, okay, to build his wealth, to build his cities, right, has treated Jacob horribly, right? Now, of course, we had to pay for our wrongdoings with the Lord. However, the Lord said what? They overran their rights to pursue us. Lakia had a call come through. Forgive me. All right, going on to verse 13, it says, thus with your mouth ye have boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me. I have heard them. Thus saith the Lord power, when the whole earth rejoices, I will make thee desolate. Right? So when it comes time for the kingdom to come in, you're going to be on the bottom, Esau. And you won't have any more cities, and you won't be able to chase Jacob anymore. All right, verse 15, as thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, right, which we've gone into that word before. Idumea is the Greek way of saying Esau, right, or Edom, even all of it, and they shall know that I am the Lord. Okay, let's go over here to Amos chapter 1, verse 11, and it says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, right, which would be Esau, the nation of Esau, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, okay, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. But I will send a fire upon Teman, which shall devour the palaces of Bozrah. And, America can be looked at as a major city of Bozrah, or likened unto Bozrah, because this is where the Edomites, right, control things, lobbyists, right, laws, policies, international laws, and so forth, right, using the might of their military and so on, right, to go out and subjugate the whole world. They go into all these other nations and steal their resources and put people to death and all these other things, and then call them so-called the T word, okay? Obadiah, verse 6, it says, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up, right? And so we find out, because this is not a story, really, that was well known, I don't believe, okay? But the Lord is exposing them for all their wickedness and their wicked crimes, okay? And here it is, like I said before, you jakes out there want them to have salvation, to be in rulership with you in the kingdom. No, man, that's not going to happen. They're going to get the justice that's deserved, right, by Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And there's nothing or nobody that can get them out of it. Verse 7, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in it. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, and to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter, right? And so that's what we basically read, okay, in Amos, right here, all right? Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, okay? All right? Now let's get back over. Oh, I know what I wanted to say, Slakia. So when you get here to verse 12, it says, but I will send a fire upon Teman, right, and destroy the palaces of Bozrah. All right, it's the same thing. Okay. Verse 8 again, shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by what? Slaughter. Okay? Slaughter. Slaughter from the Lord. Why? Verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. So let's just drop down here, right, to verse 15. For the day of the Lord Yahweh is near upon all the heathen, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. Right? All those things that you did to the two nations or to the Israelites shall be brought back upon your own head. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire in the house of Joseph, right, which will be the northern kingdom, a flame in the house of Esau for stubble, and you burn stubble, and it blows away as ash. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord has spoken it. Okay? So it's the Lord's doing that he get rid of Esau out of the earth. Okay? You jakes out there, you better get with the program. All right? And stop worrying about this man so much. Okay? He has a destination, and his destination is that he shall be desolate, right? He shall be removed out of power, and the Lord is going to destroy him. And we're not haters of so-called white people just because we read these scriptures, okay? Hebrews 12:16, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau. They are profane. They are outside of the temple. They are outside of everything that the Lord has for the Israelites, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For you know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was what? Rejected. All right, the Lord rejected Esau. He put by Esau. Okay, for he found no place of repentance. He can't repent for all the wickedness and the death and the bloodshed of the Israelites, though he sought it carefully with tears. Okay. So that's the end of it. You know, Esau can't be saved. There's no salvation for him. He chased Jacob all throughout the earth to murder him, to brutalize him, to torture him, okay? And all the evidence is out there, all right? And stop feeling sorry for this faggot, all right? So at the end, hey, the Lord's going to destroy him, all right? And them 6 cops or deputies or whatever they are, they're getting just what they deserve. Now, it's a shame that they had a $400 million case, right? And it was dwindled down to, what was it, 2.5 million? Man, that's not enough, okay? But, hey, they got something coming to them way more horrible than having to pay out a little bit of chump change, all right? And Lord willing, you know, the Jakes have some kind of some kind of way of holding on or retaining, you know, that they don't take that and go out there and be a fool with it. But, you know, they got somebody that'll guide them in the right way, okay? All right, but anyway, that's the end of the lesson right there. You know, just saw that video, you know, brother put it in the chat and, you know, watched that piece, you know, and I didn't watch all of it, but we got enough. We got what we need out of it, all right? So with that, I'll end the lesson right there, giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Shalom.